Are you thinking about moving up to the Meridian, Idaho area? Well, in this video today, I'm going to focus on one of the biggest parts of this decision. A lot of times we focus on everything that's good, everything that's bad. We really focus on Meridian here and now, which is important, but I want to focus on four things that are coming in the not so distant future to Meridian, Idaho that I think are going to be really cool and really add to everything that already makes Meridian a great place to live. And the first project that I want to talk about is a large scale project that's going to be happening just off the highway out by 10 Mile. So this is kind of towards the western edge of Meridian. It is right there in the center though, just north of the highway. So it's not really north or south Meridian, but this is a large scale project. So it's going to be just over 200 acres that's going to get developed into what they're hoping is kind of Village 2.0. So if you're familiar with the area at all, you know the village at Meridian. It's right off Eagle and Fairview, so a little bit more close to kind of the developed part of Meridian, but it is one of Meridian's hubs for shopping. It's a great place to go out, have dinner, have a drink, have lunch. Kleiner Park is right behind it. And being right there on Eagle and Fairview, that's great if they want to be that hub, but that's also part of why Eagle and Fairview is one of the most busy intersections we have in the entire state. But the same development team actually is working on this district at 10 Mile, just a little bit out, 2 exits down the highway here in Meridian. So they have really large goals and pretty good aspirations with this development, and I'm pretty excited to see it. Their focus is going to be on retail. They're going to have a daycare. They're going to have a movie theater. Eventually, they're going to have some hotels. They're going to have a recreation center. There will be some office space, there will be some light industrial, but they also really want to focus on bringing some good restaurants to this part of town. As a part of this development, there will be a small residential component, mostly multifamily homes with a total of around 400 units. But the fact that the same development team is involved in this project is really exciting to me. I remember before the village actually became a thing, and it brought a lot of cool energy and just a lot of cool things to Meridian that weren't there at that point. So the hope is that this has the same effect on this part of Meridian. And one big thing that I'm excited about is the village at Meridian. We don't go to as much as we used to, partly because it is so busy. Super busy intersection, in and out just got put there, so the parking lots have been crazy. But for those that live in Meridian, it is one of the top places to go. If you're looking for restaurants, if you want to shop, it's one of the only places to go outside of going into the mall in Boise. So anything that we can do to alleviate some of that stress and bring it out to a different part of Meridian will be huge, not only for the businesses, but for the consumer, for traffic. I'm just really excited for it. Understandably, a big component of this for the city council before it was fully approved was trying to figure out the traffic and everything that hopefully they're taking from the first village, but what is it going to do to this part of town? So there's a few things that they're doing. One, and if you're familiar with the area, these will make sense. If not, don't worry too much, but I'll have a little map, or I'll try to put one up. They're actually making a new road that'll connect Black Cat with 10 Mile, which hasn't happened yet. You kind of have to go down to Franklin, which is the first main road. So basically this road will just be a separate entrance off of Black Cat into this district at 10 Mile. This is one of the first things that they're starting with. So they're hoping that this little connection between Black Cat and 10 Mile will be done kind of in the summer of 2025. But the other big road infrastructure kind of traffic development that they're working on is actually an underpass under 10 Mile over across the street to the 10 Mile crossing development, which in its own right is kind of growing and really bringing some cool things. That's where the new Chick-fil-A has been. They got Zupas, they got a ton of little restaurants, but the big factor over there is Shields, which if you're familiar with it, you know this is a massive place, but it's a huge sports goods store, ton of outdoor stuff, apparel. It is absolutely massive. I don't really know how to encapsulate it into a very small thing. They got a Ferris wheel on the inside, but it's kind of a destination. People absolutely love it. So the city, of course, was worried about the increased traffic on that side of 10 Mile. Then you add this one over here. What is that going to do to the road? So the hope is that be able to go between developments without getting onto 10 Mile would be absolutely awesome. And they're hoping that this underpass will be done roughly in 2026 around the summertime. So about a year after that Black Cat extension. The first phase when it comes to actual construction is going to focus on the warehousing, kind of that light industrial component, but they're also going to start with that daycare. That will be huge for this area because we need more childcare centers. We're really at capacity. And the hope for both of these is that they're open by the end of 2025. Then they're going to shift focus to 2 hotels with the hopes of them opening next summer in 2026, followed by the recreation facility opening early 2027. And then they've been really honest in saying that we should not expect any of the retail stuff to open up until 2027 at the earliest. So I hope this goes without saying, all of these dates that we're going to talk about, they are very much TBD. Development can take its sweet time sometimes, but that's kind of the phases that they're hoping to go through. The second new development that I want to talk about is up in North Meridian at Orchard Park. But before I dive into that, I just want to remind you, I am a licensed agent up in the area. So if you have any questions at all about Meridian, Boise, Eagle, kind of what it's like to live up here, all my information is down below. I would absolutely love to chat. But Orchard Park is a nice little commercial kind of services district in North Meridian. So it's right off Linder and Chinden, which up until about 5 years ago was kind of a desert when it came to getting to some of these things, but they're really putting a focus on that area. As of right now, you're gonna find a Fred Meyer, you're gonna find some restaurants, there's a couple of banks, there's a Winco grocery store, there's a brand new library. And then just down the road, not really Orchard Park, but that's where the new Costco went. So it's a part of town that has already seen some of this development come, but they have a couple of new phases to this actual Orchard Park development that I'm excited about. I live just about 10 minutes from this, so we go there frequently. There's 2 main phases that they're focused on next. So the first of which is going to be kind of their library plaza. This is going to be near that brand new library that they put in just about 2 years ago, but it's going to be all local places. So we're going to have a new location of an absolute Boise favorite, the Wilder. We're going to have a new location of the Still, which is awesome ice cream. We're going to have a new location of Lemon Tree. And then we're also going to have a coffee shop go in there, Form and Function, which is a great coffee shop here in the area. They got a location downtown. They're actually moving into a location in Eagle. And I think all of these are really just going to add a new dimension to Orchard Park and kind of make it somewhere that you have options to go out to eat. And then in a different part of the Orchard Park development, they're actually adding a new kind of set of shops, building, strip mall, but we need a better word for that. But there's gonna be a few really cool things coming in there. So Nothing Bundt Cakes will be opening up a store. They're also gonna be opening up another location of Rise Modern Wellness, which is a national wellness studio. They got infrared saunas. You can get cryotherapy, you can get IV hydration, e-stim, red light facials. They have all sorts of services. There's also gonna be a new salon. There's gonna be a chiropractor office, a taekwondo studio, a Pilates studio, and then they currently have room for 2 other tenants, with one of those being the largest space with a patio. So they're really hoping to get a solid restaurant that has that patio setup. And the hope with all of this is that these actually open up this summer in 2025. So just a few months from now. So again, who knows if that'll actually happen, but we can keep our fingers crossed. Now let's leave North Meridian. Let's hop over to South Meridian. We're going to talk about Pinnacle, which I featured on the channel before, kind of more the residential side. So be sure to watch that video. But we're going to talk about a few of their newer kind of phases of the development, kind of what they call their apex developments. So there's going to be 4 of them. There's going to be Apex Zenith, Apex Northwest, Apex Far, and then Apex Phenomenal. Apex Zenith is the main attraction for kind of what's coming next. Brighton, who's the developer of the entire Pinnacle area, they're kind of calling this that prime commercial component of Pinnacle as a development. So in past videos, in that video that I mentioned, I talk a lot about Pinnacle wanting to create this So-Me district, South Meridian. They want it to be a destination. They want to give people who live on that side of the highway access to things without having to come into North Meridian. And this will be a big component of this. So it's going to be split up into a lot of commercial space. They're going to have a good amount of office space, and then they will have a small residential area. And then things are kind of still TBD on exactly what's coming, but all signs are pointing to there's going to be a new Costco that's going to be a part of this, which will be huge for South Meridian. It'll be Costco's 4th location here in the Treasure Valley, and everybody loves a Costco. The current potential opening for that is sometime in fall of 2026. And then this is a total rumor, but we've been hearing for some time that Target is actually hoping to open another location in Meridian. There's a few spots that they've kind of been floated around and connected with. None of them have materialized, but this is one that could be one of those options. And then when we look at those 3 other Apex developments, Northwest is going to have just around 40 homes, so it's going to be a little smaller. Apex Far is going to have just around 310, 320 homes. And then Phenomenal is actually going to have 64 single family units once that gets rolling. So it's been super cool to see Pinnacle already start to grow and really make that a master plan community out there with Discovery Park. This will just add that next component to really continue on that promise of the eventual So-Me district. And then right down the road from Pinnacle, still in South Meridian, there's a new subdivision that just got approved, Sky Ranch subdivision. This is going to be a total of a 44-acre community. Their plan is for around 280 single-family homes. but they're really trying to put a focus on making this an amenity-rich neighborhood. So according to them, they have 30 amenities coming, which are gonna include walking paths, there's gonna be a couple of pickleball courts, there's gonna be 2 dog parks, there's gonna be a community swimming pool, and hopefully a little bit more to get them to that 30 amenity. We'll see what they include in that number. Their schedule for getting everything set up and actually having homes or build jobs available is still TBD, but I think it's always a good idea to kind of know what that next development is coming so that you're ahead of the game if it's something that you're actually interested in. And then to wrap up, there are 2 small little reminders of projects that you'll want to keep an eye out for. One of which is Central Valley Plaza, which I actually talked about in the similar video for Eagle, so check that out. But that's going to be right on that border of Meridian and Eagle in North Meridian, medical plaza, some residential, something really exciting. And then finally, there's a downtown Meridian project that hopefully is going to get rolling here again. Downtown Meridian is in its growth phase. They're bringing a lot of cool stuff in there. But if you're driving through, you're going to see that there is this big dirt area with kind of a building that started to get rolling. There was an issue with the developer. They couldn't kind of pay everybody, so it kind of got called up in courts in the city and outside of my purview. But there are rumors now that a new investor's kind of coming in and will get that rolling. And this would be huge because to be able to turn that from dirt and kind of a construction site into what they actually envisioned, that'll be that next step for Meridian. And outside of that, just keeping an eye on downtown Meridian. They're having new breweries pop up. They're getting more restaurants. It is a cool place of town, and it's a little bit smaller than some of the other areas that we push people to with the Village, downtown Boise, etc. But overall, those are just a few things that I'm excited to see happen here in Meridian, hopefully over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, however long it takes. Meridian is a fantastic place to live. It's central to our valley. We've owned a couple homes there. We absolutely love it. And I think that this is just going to continue to make it even more appealing for some people. So if you have any questions at all about anything that I went through in this video, all my information is down below. Shoot me an email, shoot me a text. I will give you everything that I can find. And then if you like this video, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. That way you are the first to know everything you need to know about living up here in the Boise, Idaho area. But until then, watch one of these videos that's popping up, and I'll see you all on the next one.